And we are back. And with the announcement of Lucha Underground being split, and we'll probably not see it come back, let's do a retrospective of this very revolutionary promotion.
Yes.
Peanut Gallery, since this was your topic, you wanted to talk about the first couple of things and the first seasons.
The first, yep. So it's kind of split down. The beginning first 2 seasons is mine, and then the last 2 seasons and the ending is Tiger Heights.
Yep. All right. I'm going to get another drink since I have some time. So Peanut Gallery, go ahead.
All right. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yep. Perfect. So let's go back to the beginning. January 2014. Mark Burnett, who is the same Mark Burnett that produces like Shark Tank and stuff like that. So he's a very well-known producer. He partnered with Robert Rodriguez's El Rey Network to launch a weekly hour-long television show in the United States. And this was going to occur after June of 2014. The show would be affiliated with Mexico's Lucha Libre AAA worldwide. In July 2014, the show was tentatively called and originally called Lucha Uprising, but the show was renamed in 2014 August to Lucha Underground, and it was announced that 5 AAA stars would join the show, namely Blue Demon Jr., Sexy Star, Phoenix, Drago, and Pentagon Jr. The show would be taped in front of a live audience in a studio space in Boyle Heights, California, the first taping being September 6th of 2014. So Lucha Underground is unique in a variety of different ways. Not only did they have the Lucha Underground Temple, but they also used the opportunity to test out new angles for rings, new concepts, really putting that whole mystical element into it that's very well known in Mexico. So the first season introduced the viewers to Dario Cuerto, sorry, who was the owner, quote unquote, of the Lucha Underground Temple. Cuerto. I'm trying to read here. Cuerto uses his money and influence to stage fights, promoting violence, and often rewarding rule breakers while punishing those that play by the rules. So he was like a heel general manager. Yeah, he was a corrupt shit.
I loved him though.
I know, wasn't that amazing?
He was so good.
So during the season, Cuerto introduced the Lucha Underground champion, won by Prince Puma. And in episode 9, I believe.
Yep, Aztec Warfare.
Yep, Aztec Warfare match. So that was they're just trying to put this promotion together. Later on, the Lucha Underground Trios champion was added, and the first champions were the team of Angelico, Ibelis, and Son of Havoc.
Yep.
During the season, Cuerto began rewarding several wrestlers with the Aztec Medallion.
Yes.
Later revealing that all played a part in the creation of the Gift of the Gods Championship.
One of my favorite
Which
concepts.
was won by Phoenix during the season finale called Ultima Lucha.
Yep.
And you see, I thought that the Gift of the Gods Champion wasn't a thing until season 2.
Nope, it was season 1.
So, the other plot lines were the introduction of the mysterious supernatural character Mil Muerto.
Mil Muertes.
Mil Muertes.
Mil Muertes, yes.
And his companion Katrina, as they first fight against Phoenix.
Also, fun fact: Katrina wrestled in the 3rd season of NXT.
Oh. So they had a rivalry with Phoenix, and then later targeted Prince Puma. Katrina also brought in a trio called the Disciples of Death.
Yes.
And these were Barrio
Negro, El Cielo de la Muerte, and Trece.
Okay, perfect. The season also included a side plot featuring Cuerto, his brother Matanza, and Black Lotus.
You got Black Lotus, right?
Yeah. Who tries to kill Cuerto and a masked wrestler known as Dragon Azteca, who trains Black Lotus during the season.
Yep.
In the final episode of Season 1, Black Lotus kills Dragon Azteca, causing Cuerta to flee the temple with both Black Lotus and Matanza in tow.
Thank Christ we're watching CML because you're like slaughtering space.
I am slaughtering. I'm also like not. I can't read print from that far away. Anyway, so obviously Lucha Underground is not meant for children. No. Now, children can watch it, but it's just very
fun fact,
very supernatural.
Mil Muertes is Ricky Banderas in AAA, but also he played Judas Messias in TNA.
Yep. Judas Messias.
Yep.
I remember that one. At the beginning of Season 2, Lucha Underground temple owner Dario Cuerto,
there we go,
has been absent from the temple since the end of Season 1, and Katrina has taken charge of the temple, leaving it a much darker place, as Matt Stryker comments.
Yep.
During the opening scene under her management, the Lucha Underground champion Mil Muertes and Lucha Underground Trios champions, the Disciples of Death, control the operation. In their quest to control everything, Katrina hires King Cuerno?
Yep. Currently, what's his new name?
I don't know.
Elio de Fantasma's new name.
Santos Escobar.
Santos Escobar, same guy.
Huh?
Yep.
To take the Gift of the Gods championship from Phoenix. Mm-hmm. Phoenix defeats Mil Muertes to win the championship. Only not defeats, he obviously retained, only for Katrina to force him to defend the title during Aztec Warfare 2. During the match, Cuerto dramatically returns, unleashing his brother Matanza on the temple.
Matanza was Jeff Cobb.
Winning the Lucha Underground champion in the process. Over the next few weeks, running alongside the tournament of the Lucha Underground Trios Championship, the Monster Matanza Cuerto would go on to easily dispatch top Technicos?
Technicos, yep.
Technicos in the promotion like Pentagon Jr. and Phoenix. Matanza's first real challenge came in the form of former Lucha Underground champion Mil Muertes. In their initial encounter, Mil Muertes delivered his finisher, the Flatliner, to the Monster, which sent both monsters through the roof of Dario Cuerto's office. Mm-hmm. This put both monsters out of commission for several weeks and gave the crowd something that's rare in Lucha Underground, a no-contest finish. Lucha Underground's first two seasons. The first season received pretty good reception. Mm-hmm. Season 2 was a little more mixed, critically comparing it to the first, with more fans and professional wrestling's media outlets aware of the product in his sophomore season. So obviously it was very much underground in the first season. You kind of had to know it was there.
Yep.
It wasn't well publicized like AEW was.
Right.
So loyal Lucha Underground fans have commended its storylines and match quality, which is something that I really appreciate too. I really like the match quality. I really like the storylines.
Right.
There's a lot of, quality in the match in terms of the athleticism, not like all the blood and guts and stuff. I'm just talking about the athleticism of the competitors. Very well done. Obviously, someone who is familiar with wrestling.
I thought that it developed quite nicely.
Yeah, it did. It kind of had that cult following.
Yep.
Which I liked. So great storytelling.
I watched it every single week.
As well as portrayal of women's wrestling, which some consider to be revolutionary, while others remain uncomfortable with the concept of women wrestling men.
I loved it. I thought it was great. Mm-hmm. I think they should do more of it, personally.
So that's kind of what I saw, and of course there are a bunch of different reviews from different people, but the first two seasons were pretty well done. So when we come back from the break, we will do the second part.
A break?
Yeah, let's do a break really quick.
Oh, all right, we'll do a break. That's fine.
And after we come back from the break, Tiger Height will help us out here with seasons 3 and 4, and then the very end.
Yes. And we are back, and we're going to talk about the final 2 seasons of Lucha Underground, the lawsuit, that happened in 2019, and then also a overall reception of the promotion and what it did for the wrestling industry as a whole. So season 3 was different than the other 2 seasons of Lucha Underground at this time, because not only did they have to retape a lot of things because El Rey Network
this is the one where they wanted the 20 extra episodes.
Yep, there were 20 episodes that were taped already for season 3 of Lucha Underground before the end of the second season. But the problem is that they ordered 20 more because season 2 actually got really good ratings, especially when they started to focus on individual wrestlers. And with this one, Pentagon came out as the cult following gigantic megastar that they did not think in season 1, because season 1, Pentagon Jr. was the jobber, which a lot of people forget, but he started to gain a Daniel Bryan-esque following, which led to him changing his name to Pentagon Dark. So, with this one, the season number 3 started just over a week after Ultima Lucha Dos. So this is the fastest turnaround because of the additional episodes that El Rey demanded. A lot of wrestlers were extremely pissed off.
Yeah.
Because they decided that, we're going to do 20 more episodes. So they pushed the 20 episodes that they already taped ahead.
Yeah.
They had to watch the episodes to make sure they knew what they were doing and then go ahead and do more.
Right.
The season was circled around Pentagon Dark because this was also regarded as the season of the arrival of Pentagon in the modern fans' perspective.
Right.
Especially here in America.
Yes.
So he won the Lucha Underground champion, and he was unstoppable. He lost all of, I think, 4 matches, and he was essentially on all the time during season 3, including the infamous gauntlet match between the Black Lotus Triad,
right,
which was Kairi Sane. There were 2 others. I can't remember them off the top of my head. But yes, Kairi Sane was actually one of them. Io Shirai was one of them, too. So it was Io Shirai, Kairi Sane, and that one girl from the Mae Young Classic number 2. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. But yeah, they were the Black Lotus Triad. Which also was one of the most uncomfortable episodes because it was a guy destroying 3 Japanese women.
Yes.
Or my fantasy. So what this was is that this was also the final season of Ricochet because he signed with WWE at this point. So the final match of this season was Pentagon Dark versus Prince Puma in a loser leaves Lucha Underground, and also for the Lucha Underground champion.
Right.
This one was weird because also this was the final season in the Boyle Heights Temple.
Right.
But we'll get to that in season 4. And season 4 was really weird.
This is when it really started to go downhill, right?
Yes. Ultima Lucha Tres was in 4 parts.
That was
a lot of people were very upset about this. They thought that this was the decline of Lucha Underground because
really, 4-part event for Ultima Lucha Tres. You would think that.
No, it was actually really bad. The first night there were only 2 matches. So. At this and also with this one they actually introduced Dr. Wagner Jr. and stuff too. So they actually garnered a lot of really big names here. But at the same time, a lot of people were kind of getting it to where, oh my God, we're getting 40 episodes.
Right.
But this was also the season where they introduced it to Netflix.
Right.
Where the ratings actually were a ton better
because of Netflix.
Yeah, because of the Netflix series. So people actually gain more attention.
And I think this is where we started watching it, was when it went to Netflix. Is that
I was watching it before.
Oh, okay.
You did not watch it at the time because it started in 2014.
Right. So
I was in college.
Right. So I think that's when I started. I think watching when season 3 was around.
The first season's premiere, I remember watching it, was October 29th, 2014.
Jeez.
Holy shit. shit.
All right.
That wow. I actually remember doing a Pro Wrestling Zone on the first Ultima Lucha. It was actually one of our higher rating shows. That was fuck. Have we been doing this for 6 years?
Yeah, we've been doing this for a long time.
Jesus. But this season, with the 40 episodes, it was more than the first 2 seasons combined. A lot of people are actually burnt out by this. But they kind of learned their lesson into season 4. So season 3 ended in... Oh, God, what... I can't remember what day it was. I really should have known this because I fucking looked at it. Oh, Lord Jesus Christ, Adam. All right, so season 3... Oh, look at that. So the final Ultima Lucha was taped on June 26th, 2016, but aired October 18th, 2017.
Right.
So, but then season 4, which was the one where it was in a totally different arena, which is why it looked so radically different, started on June 13th, 2018. So there was a really good gap.
There was a pretty good gap there between season 3 and season 4.
Yes. So I think they redeemed it. But this personally was my favorite season.
Season 4?
Mm-hmm. I liked this season. A lot of people didn't because they cleaned it up a lot. Yeah. So there was like this harsh blue and very bright yellow tone. They were in a different building entirely.
It didn't have that gritty, grungy feel that people have come to know and love as far as... And really, I guess this is why the ratings started really going down too, right? Yes,
there were also a lot of controversies with this. So... during the middle of this season, Jake Strong, also known as Jake Hager, debuted. Now, they pushed him really, really hard because they were trying to get back people to talk about Lucha Underground. Because at the end of this, Pentagon Dark was the champion again. So he was champion for a while, but then they did something very controversial because they wanted to get people talking. Marty the Moth Martinez won the Lucha Underground champion from Pentagon Dark.
Really?
Yes. So he won Gift of the Gods.
Yeah.
But then he cashed in the championship the same night he won it.
Huh.
Which went against what Gift of the Gods was supposed to be.
Right.
It was essentially what... It was like, oh, I'm going to cash this in next week. I want my Lucha Underground shot next week. And during the first season, when it was introduced, that's what it was supposed to be.
Right.
But they were like, we need to get people talking. Because at this time, they were very much struggling. There were only 22 episodes in this season, and the ratings were very, very poor.
Right.
And most of everybody on the roster were signed with another company at this point, too. But since they already signed on for Season 4, they had to make this obligation.
Right.
And we'll talk about the lawsuit after Season 4 because that's when this lawsuit happened.
Yes, another interesting thing about this season was this was the season where Lucha Underground worked with Impact Wrestling.
Yes.
And at that time, Impact Wrestling was not doing too well.
Yep.
You know, now they're doing, you think about it, well, now they're doing great, but there was a time there when they were not doing well.
Yep. I mean, this was the turnaround, though, because a lot of these stars from Lucha Underground going to Impact really helped the show.
Right, it did.
Because that's how Brian Cage got there.
Right.
Which really helped. Pentagon, Phoenix.
Yep.
Taya Valkyrie.
Johnny Mundo.
Johnny Mundo, yes, Johnny Impact. So a lot of that transitional stuff came from Lucha Underground. So, so the infamy was Marty the Moth Martinez winning the Lucha Underground champion, who... Marty the Moth was not uber popular, but he was like definitely a face. But he won it from Pentagon Dark, and that's when people really turned on the show. Was this? Now, I'm sorry, facts don't care about your feelings. The numbers say something different. It lost a lot of viewership, and they were really struggling to even get people into the building to watch the show at this time.
Right.
So, the very end of it. And they didn't even like this. So, Ultima Lucha Quattro was a double-parter.
Yeah.
So, the Trios champions at this time were Cobra Moon, which we'll talk about later because it's important. And also, that's Thunder Rosa. Daga, which is Daga. And then Jeremiah Snake, which is Sami Callihan currently. Also, Sami Callihan went from Lucha Underground to Impact. Number 2 was kind of weird because Pentagon Dark regained the championship from Marty the Moth Martinez.
Right.
But the very next match, Jake Strong, who won Gift of the Gods, once again, another Gift of the Gods weird cash-in, cash it in and beat Pentagon to win the Lucha Underground champion.
Right.
I like the decision, at least at this time.
Right.
But the problem with this is that, you know, once again, Pentagon was an uber popular person. They thought that they kind of screwed him because it was Jack Swagger, essentially. Excuse me. So, you know, at this point, a lot of these guys did not decide to re-sign, but one of the big things, I think that was the bring down of the company, was the lawsuit. So on February 6th, 2019, so well after, because the end of that season was in 2018, it was reported that Jorge Luis Enchantiar, I butchered that immensely, but whatever, who worked...
Alcantar.
Okay, thanks, fucking Spanish linguistics major, who worked as King Cuerno for Lucha Underground, had filed a lawsuit in California against the El Rey Network and the Baba G production company behind Lucha Underground. The lawsuit claimed that the LU contract illegally restricted wrestlers from working in their lawful profession by being restricted for working in other companies while under contract with Lucha Underground, which only paid per episode. So they signed a contract through the season, but they pre-taped the season. So they couldn't work anywhere as they were working in, you know, that.
So apparently, they were under exclusive contracts essentially with Lucha Underground. They were not allowed to work any other shows outside of Lucha Underground.
So Cuerno also stated that each appearance only paid less than $1,000 per episode. Which is insane. Per appearance. It wasn't even per episode. It was per appearance. So if you weren't on there, you're not working, but you still signed a contract with me. Some of the Lucha Underground cast earned only about $4,000 a year from the show. Cuerno's lawyer also revealed that he had filed a class action lawsuit against Lucha Underground over the contracts that he claims are not legal under California law. Other wrestlers who were involved in the lawsuit included Ivelisse, Joey Ryan, and Melissa Cervantes, which is...
Melissa Santos.
No. Thunder Rosa.
Oh.
No, her name is actually Melissa Santos.
Oh.
Joined him in the class action lawsuit, looking to invalidate their contract so they can work in other places.
And in March, that's what happened.
Yep, in March 26, 2019, all lawsuits have been settled in the wrestlers' favor, and they were freed from their Lucha Underground contracts. So that was pretty much the death nail, because I think everybody at that point soured because this was very highly publicized at the time.
It was. So wrestlers were going to come work for Lucha Underground. And with everyone leaving, you know, there was an interview a few months ago where I think it was
Vampiro, who was a main producer on the show, stated that if they were going to bring it back, most of the writers and wrestlers and production were gone, so what would be the point?
It would be a whole different promotion.
He
said it hasn't been announced yet, but Lucha Underground is pretty much dead at this point. So
it's been since 2018 is when the last season happened.
So retrospectives, thoughts, Lucha Underground. It was fine, but their contracts sucked, and this is where I have the problems with them. Their contracts were
it was very
god awful.
It was very restrictive. It did not help the wrestlers, did not help the industry.
No.
I have little more of a glassy rose lenses when it comes to Lucha Underground, because I think that the promotion itself was incredibly revolutionary.
It was very well produced.
And not only the production and the storylines, but it introduced the groundwork for the current wrestling scene.
Right.
You have Cage, Phoenix, Pentagon, Ricochet, Mundo. All of these wrestlers, Jake Strong's career invigorated.
Right.
Matanza, who was Jeff Cobb, he got introduced because people understood who he was.
Right.
Then they looked him up. Willie Mack was a part of it. There was Famous B. There was
Sami Callihan.
Sami Callihan, who became a revolutionary within of himself. Sexy Star, who now has claimed that she started the women's revolution. I don't agree with that, and I think she's an asshole for even stating that.
But
we'll talk about her later. But I think aspects of this company were garbage.
Yeah.
100%. But this company was very revolutionary.
It was.
And I think they deserve more credit where credit is due. The wrestling scene would be so much different without Lucha Underground when they were there. So I am glad that I was here to experience it live, and I want to hear from you.
What do you think about Lucha Underground?
Did you like Lucha Underground? Did you not like Lucha Underground?
So, show for next week before we get off the air here. Next week is CMLL's 87th anniversary.
Our first CMLL show. I am so excited for it.
And, of course,
Clash of
WWE's world-famous Clash of Champions.
Yes.
So
a brand new Bible study and a brand new wrestling
remember,
lesson.
we are continually improving these. So it is not all set in stone, but we will have I really want to do more like wrestling themes in the Bible study, so I'm going to try that just to make it relevant.
Maybe talk about Reverend Devon
or whatever.
Right.
And thank you guys so much for listening. Follow us on all social media.
Become a patron.
Become a patron.
Because then you can watch CMLL. You'll watch the show, but you could get drunk and incredibly irresponsible and then drive home.
Exactly. And as always, be
majestic.